You guys, I'm not sure if you're achieving what you think you want to achieve by threatening to close your legs and not have sex anymore or be promiscuous after conservatives took over everything and Trump won.
Donald Trump is president, and I think all women should stop having sex for the next 4 years.
For the next 4 years, I am going to abstain from schmex with men.
All the conservatives are like, cool, we accomplished this too? And all the like liberal dudes are buying guns. They're like, sweet. It only took Trump winning to get more people to buy guns and women to be less promiscuous. Congratulations. I've been calling it the host, right? I'm Bridget Phetasy, and this is your Dumpster Fire. Welcome to Dumpster Fire, where we make burgers out of your sacred cows. And if you can't handle that, we're probably not for you. So a lot of women are posting about 4B, which is a South Korean movement that happened where the women decided not to. It was no, what were the 4Bs? This is
the
my
four
no-no
no's.
square.
No sex with men, no giving birth, no dating men, no marriage with men.
They're basically on a hoe strike, a man strike. It's pretty funny. A lot of them have threatened to just stop sleeping with men. And they're like, abortions have been banned, so now we can't have sex. And they're like, yeah, that's the whole point. The conservatives are cheering Gen Z ladies. I'm not sure if you know this. Ladies, I'm worried about you. As your crazy aunt on the interwebs, who has gone before you, was really first wave of the true sexual revolution. I guess we were maybe second wave, but we were first wave of like growing up with it unencumbered like you grew up with the internet. We grew up with the sexual revolution. And I'm here to tell you a lot of things, which we'll get into in a later episode, but mostly I'm worried about a lot of your mental health because it seems to me that you're all mentally unstable and you're shaving your heads like Britney Spears did back when she lost her mind.
I don't know how to use this thing. Let's see what happens.
Everyday therapist, mother made, it's not an act of love. And it is worrisome to me. I want to dunk on you and probably will mock some of this behavior because I think a lot of it is just histrionic for attention. I know that you get a lot of accolades. And Justine Bateman is doing the coolest thing on the internet right now and critiquing all of these videos from a filmmaker perspective, which is amazing. The internet's been roundly dunking on them. I don't want to be the woman who's making fun of an abused person who hasn't left their relationship soon enough. I think the corporate press has done psychological damage to you. And people who make videos that are like literally Hitler, those people have gotten in your head and made you believe things that aren't necessarily true. And now you're all having very public mental breakdowns. First of all, you don't want this to live forever. I would never want my daughter to be able to access a video of me doing that online. I understand you're scared irrationally, and I understand that you think you're going to be put in some camps. The shaving the head thing is weird. It's just one less step they're going to have to take when you guys get sent to the camps.
This whole talk of camps is so strange to me.
The LGBTQ community is freaking out. They're all acting like they're not going to be able to get married. They all think they're going to camps. They're posting crisis hotlines. My Facebook is just an unhinged, never-ending stream of black squares saying the most insane stuff like, this is worse than after 9/11. You guys, just democracy died today. I'm distraught. All of these hyperbolic, but also then racist things that you're saying too, like the ones that are like, you'll be sad when food prices go up because there's no one to pick your food. Like, you guys just want a underpaid slave class, and you don't even hear yourself. Who's going to build our houses? You do know that we built homes in America before we had an underpaid, overworked, illegal migrant force to do so, and that many of the people who are building your homes are legal. They came here legally and they're working normal jobs because they're Americans. It's like insane how ill-informed so many of these takes are. Mag, how much of it do you think is histrionics for attention?
I would say a fair amount, even if they don't necessarily realize that's what they're doing.
Do you think they believe this?
Yes. I think they're frenziedly, passionately believing in this craziness. But I'm just kind of like, we've been here before. We've survived 4 years of Donald Trump. He didn't get rid of gay marriage. Like, he didn't ship people off to camps. Like, where is this coming from?
It's coming from a delusion that's been fed to them nonstop from the media. And it's interesting because you would think, and Charlemagne was saying this on his show this morning, you would think that there would be a lot of speeches from leaders and even people in media about this is the darkest day. We have a fascist who's taken over, and you're not seeing that either. It's like, I don't think they believed it.
Don't y'all find it strange that now that he's won, they're not calling him a threat to democracy? They're not calling him a fascist. I would think that, if you really believe that, then somebody's speech would be about how America effed up and how things are about to be really bad. It just makes you wonder how much of it did they really believe, or how much of it was just politics.
Nobody believed this hyperbolic insanity of literally Hitler that we've been subjected to. As I said, our last dumpster fire, Americans saw through this and they were like, he's not Hitler. I'm not racist. Fuck you. They're still leaning into the racist thing. They're still leaning into everything is racism and sexism. There have been a lot of think pieces. There was a woman who was she wrote a New York Times piece about how we need to lean even harder into identity politics. There have been no lessons learned. Guys like Thomas Chatterton Williams today, he writes for The Atlantic. He was begging liberals to find another talking point, to learn from their mistakes, to listen to what the voters have said. Nobody's listening to it. I mean, I hate to say it using it in regards to women, but it is a lot of hysteria and it's unsettling. Again, I don't want to be too cocky. Like, it's fun to get drunk on liberal tears. It really is. I felt hungover the day after the election. There is a joy of just seeing that you weren't alone. Like, America was like, F you! It was like a collective kumbaya F you to all of the lecturing and the being told that they're racist and the insidious censorship that they're all out there still trying to promote, by the way.
Well, it would help if we could regulate social media, because one of the biggest offenders is D.C. and Congress have not been able to do one thing in regard to the rogue corporations of social media.
And they still don't get, this is another reason why Americans voted for Trump. They see that censorship, they felt it, and they felt the overreach of the government during COVID. There's so many reasons that Americans held their nose in many instances. He gained all across the board. It wasn't like one person. Suburban moms broke for him. Gen Z boys, as we knew would, but Gen Z women did too in ways that were unexpected. Latinos, obviously, who are now the new white supremacists, because of course, it was gains all across the board with some exceptions. I wrote a piece for Spectator that elaborated more on the Democrats have Bud Lighted their brand. I actually think that was a pivotal moment, the beginning of the end of this movement for America. I think they looked at this and they were like, all right, it was so in your face and absurd on its face that they were like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm freaking out. I know it's just beer, but it's not just beer. It's an American brand. It is still at number 3, by the way. They've never recovered. They lost 20 to 30% of their market share, and they are still sitting at number 3.
And it just shows a willful ignorance of who their audience is.
Yeah, and it's not just men who they completely lost over the course of a decade. It's also women going, you don't even know how to define a woman. That's a little more important to me than abortion. If you can't define a woman and you are erasing them completely and allowing men and women spaces, that becomes a bigger priority to women than Roe v. Wade. I really actually think, looking at all of the numbers and really talking about this on a bunch of podcasts that I did, which you should check out. I was on The Last Debate, which we are cross-promoting, so you'll see that. I spoke to a Kamala voter, Ravi Gupta. He spoke to me, a now Trump voter. And I was on the Pirate Wires podcast, which dropped on Friday. And we talked a lot about this and just how when you really look at who actually cares about abortion, it's a much smaller fraction of people than you would think. And my theory is that a lot of women who have that little default button to be like, abortion is our single issue, aged out of it. We got older and we had kids, and now we have bigger priorities like groceries and all of these things and what's happening with our kids and in our schools. So I think they just missed the mark on that. A lot of women I know were balancing that. And if you're in a state that already allows abortion, that's not going to be a priority. And the people who were in those swing states that they needed were probably suburban moms who are evaluating this on a whole and going, more worried about what they're teaching my daughter in school, more worried about her competing against dudes. And then the relentless insistence that it wasn't happening while it was happening by people in media who don't have kids. We got so gaslit by childless reporters in cities who are generally single and live alone. And they're like, your groceries aren't that, or very wealthy pundits who don't even do their grocery shopping. Joe Scarborough the other day on MSNBC was like shocked at the price of butter.
Butter's over $3. But it actually, everything we're hearing after the election is,
I'm just saying, the $7.
What's that?
The $7.
What's that? Butter is $7?
Yeah.
What? Is it framed in gold?
Bro, when was the last time you even did your shopping? You guys sit there and act like we're crazy for noticing things that we notice. We notice when our Botox budget goes down. Women are oftentimes the ones who are running the house, too. They're paying all the bills. They're doing the budgets. They know this stuff inside out. And you're not going to trick them into thinking that insurance, energy, and food prices have not skyrocketed in the past 4 years. The crazy double standard, this isn't really happening while we codify our state as a sanctuary state for transgender operations. Like, none of this is happening while we legislate whether parents can be kept in the dark about what is going on with their child at school. You don't get to have it both ways. I'm sorry. You don't get to say none of this is happening while you create laws that only reaffirm the fact that it's happening. You're crazy. Reality remains undefeated. Eventually, it's going to smack you in the face. And it really did. This election was reality smacking a lot of people in the face.
Hi, my name is Erin. I use she, her pronouns, and I am
And I don't want to get cocky. We have a lot of work to do. I would like to just dunk on everybody, which we've been doing, by the way, on this program. I would like to dunk on the right and the left and do what late night used to do. I would also like to just tell stories and make shows that are good and interesting and not woke or anti-woke, because both of those things need to die. They're boring. Let's go back to the 90s. When everybody made fun of everybody. And it's amazing, Gen X, I freaking see you. Our whole audience is Gen X, which our primary, the majority of our audience is Gen X. And weirdly, Gen Z, and of course, millennials hate us. Gen X, you're small but mighty. I will never underestimate you. You guys, I know how it is. I have aging parents. I have young kids. You're in the weeds. A lot of you, I was worried after the midterms. I was like, oh, shit. Like, I'm in the minority in this country. I think people have really lost their minds, but you were just too busy. You just had too much going on. And this election, you woke up and you were like, oh, hell nah. We're done with this nonsense. Before our next segment, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, touch my bells and buttons. For the unhinged lady in your life, we're all unhinged. You've all heard me talk about the Bone Charge red light face mask and how much I love it as an unhinged lady on YouTube. Getting older sucks, especially when your job requires you to be on camera. And I've been noticing wrinkles and fine lines, sunspots. I don't like to do a ton of intervention on these things, as you can probably tell by my jowls. I use my Bone Charge red light face mask for 10 minutes every night. It's my me time. It's my 10 minutes to myself. It boosts collagen and elastin production. It's super lightweight on the face and doesn't get hot. Other problems the red light face mask helps with: sore jaw, eczema, migraines, acne, scar tissue, wound healing, relaxation, razor burn, and ingrown facial hair. People often ask why my skin is glowing, and it is certainly not my skin routine, because I still have the skin routine of an alcoholic who passes out with their makeup on. Go to bonecharge.com/Bridget and use coupon code Bridget to save 15% off. That's BONCHARGE.com/Bridget and use coupon code Bridget to save 15% off. The link is in the description below. Now let's check the weather with Lluvia Carrillo.
De lo que estábamos hablando en este momento, el Frente Frío número 56 de la temporada, pues ya se encuentra básicamente afectando lo que viene siendo Chihuahua, Coahuila también, Nuevo León, gran parte del noreste, y pues esto ocasionando las precipitaciones.
Thank you, Lluvia. Before I go, Republicans, conservatives, independents, I know the schadenfreude it's great. I understand the instinct to mock and dunk on all of these crazy libs. We're all Americans, even the coastal elites. I really do have a lot of optimism for America right now. I think we need that tension. We need to fight with each other in a good way. We need to move past every single election being the end of the world and just have it be like, okay, this was an election. It swings back and forth in America. That's what's cool about it. I do feel like we came off one track that was very dark and got onto a track that feels more optimistic and like we can build. I hope that that's the case. And we need to stay humble. It's hard. I get it. MSNBC had huge ratings, and Red Steeds was like, I'm not sure you guys want to know why that was. And it's because everybody was watching it to jerk off to it. Let's get to work and make America great again. Moving forward, we're probably going to be doing 2 dumpster fires a week and then walk-ins welcome. That will be 3 things you get, and you really should check out walk-ins welcome. It's longer form. The guests are great. It's interesting, and I've learned so much from doing that podcast for the past 8 years.
For sure.
And I think a lot of people who have listened to it have as well. So check it out. The only thing that keeps Dumpster Fire going is you guys joining us at Phetasy.com and supporting the people who support us. So buy those STD tests from QuestHealth.com. Get those masks for your mama, or this is who you should buy these masks for. Do you have a little sister or a cousin or an aunt, anyone posting a black square? Buy them a Bone Charge mask for Christmas. They obviously need it. They need some R&R. Go to Phetasy.com, subscribe. You get access to everything we do behind the paywall, the unedited version of Dumpster Fire, so you can see how the sausage is made. And you get so much other stuff and a cool community. And also you get to support us, your wily little rascals online. And the more of you that do that, the closer to me having a proper late night show I will be. Thank you guys for tuning in. We love you. Don't forget, we're probably going to disappoint you and piss you off. And that's what makes you intellectually curious. And now to cleanse your palate, the internet is glorious.
Donald Trump won, and I am very, very afraid that he might deport my mother-in-law. She entered illegally to the country, and she lives in Street 4, number 47, apartment D, New York. I am very, very concerned. That's right behind the green apartment. Yeah. The gate is always open. You don't have any dogs either. Street 4, number 47, apartment D.
Remember, life is absurd. Don't take yourself so seriously. Take the work seriously. Don't take yourself seriously. This has been your Dumpster Fire. I'm Bridget Phetasy. Now make me rich so we can have a late night show of our own.
And the unicorns dance while the world burns, world burns. World burns.